Okay. Yes. Okay. See, in the previous class, we have actually started the post-fertilization events, right? So in the post-fertilization events, we are started with, okay, let me go through the slides. Capacitation, we have asked, and I've also told about this, and embryonic development in this morula formation, which means how the morula is going to be formed, where this is also called a cell or 8 to 16 or 16 to 32 cell stage is called as a morula stage. While yes, Raghavi, next, that is while dividing the zygote, while dividing or and forming the morula stage, at that, I mean, at that time itself, spontaneously, not the spontaneously, yes, while dividing, this morula starts to move, and at the end of the morula stage, it is going to reach the uterus. Stage is called as the blastula stage or the blastocyst stage. So what happens in blastocyst stage? There is the cell, which means all micromeres arrange at the periphery, and the macromeres which arrange at a one end called the inner cell mass, and also is inner cell mass, and also called as neuronal knob. Voice is not audible. Is what's it taking? Just give me a minute. Is now is it clear? Voice is breaking. Yes, okay, but now tell me, is it clear? Only two people are saying clear. What about others? If it is breaking, just let me know. Okay, okay, very good, very good. Oh, Suma, hi. Good afternoon. Okay. Yes. Blastocyst, we know there is a space called a blastocele where it is going to absorb the nutrients from the endometrium wall, and that nutrition is stored in the space called the blastocele. Next is the implantation takes place with the help of chorionic villi, which are formed by the blastula. Okay, at this blastula stage itself, the implantation will take place. You may get the question on this. In the human reproduction, the implantation takes at which stage? That is at the blastocyst stage or the blastula stage. Okay, and see, have a look on implantation and the role of zona pellucida. And I forgot to tell you one more thing here. While the formation of the morula, the corona radiata is going to eliminate, and at the end of the blastola formation or at the end of the blastocyst formation, the zona pellucida is going to be eliminated. Okay, and voice is not audible to the Swati. Is the same for everyone? Is the same for everyone? Is my voice audible or is it not audible? It's clear. Voice is breaking. Audible for someone, audible for. Okay, see, maximum people can hear me properly. Yes, what about now? What about now? Okay, now it may be audible clearly. See, maximum people can hear me properly. Only few people have the issue, but okay, anyhow, I have turned off my video. Or Srinidhi, you have raised your hand. If you have doubt, just ask me in the chat box. Okay, and the role of human chronic gonadotrophin, this you have to remember. During the pregnancy test, this hormone is very important, right? If there is a hormone or in that test, which hormone is going to be detected? This human chronic gonadotrophin hormone is going to be detected, which is secreted by the trophoblastic cells. Okay, and this can also maintain the carpus luteum, so that the carpus luteum can produce the progesterone. Okay, and from the fertilization till the 8th week, we are going to call that stage as the embryo, and after the 8th week, we are going to call that as a fetus. And next is the gastrulation, where the three derm layers or three germ layers are going to be formed: endoderm, mesoderm, and the ectoderm. Okay, And finally, we are going to see about the placentation or the formation of placenta, how the placenta is going to be formed, and what is the function of placenta, which is helpful for the nutrition. And I mean, yes, this placenta is going to pass the nutrition from a mother to the fetus or the embryo, and the excretion of that embryo is going to be passed into the maternal body with the help of this placenta. And this placenta can also act as a barrier for most of the pathogens, but few drugs and the viruses like HIV, they can pass through this placenta, which means they can affect the baby if the mother is having the HIV, or if the mother is taking drugs, then they can move into the baby. And next is the respiration. Yes, the baby needs to get oxygen, right? I mean, the cells of the developing embryo, tissues of the developing embryo should respire, which means they should get the oxygen. That oxygen is given by the mother through the placenta, and the carbon dioxide which is eliminated by the tissues of that embryo is going to be reached to the mother with the help of the same placenta, and the mother is going to eliminate the carbon dioxide normally how we do. And the storage organ and the endocrine organs, everything with the help of the placenta. Right, next the hormones are human chronic gonadotrophin hormone and the human placental lactogen, estrogen and progesterone, and relaxin. Out of these four, human HCG, HPL, and relaxin, these three hormones are mainly formed during the pregnancy, or during, if the female is conceived, at that time only we can detect these three hormones. But estrogen and progesterone we can detect in the females in all the time. Okay, Bindu, turn off your video. Okay, Bindu, turn off your video. Yes, now in today's class, we are going to discuss about the extra embryonic layers. And yes, am I audible now clearly? Am I audible clearly now? If yes, I'm going to turn on my video. Yes, Akbar is saying yes. Ramachandra, hi. Bhavana, hi. Shibana. Okay. Yes. Okay, so extra embryonic layers. In the embryonic layers, there are three layers or three germ layers. That those are called ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm, right? And we know from the mesoderm what is, I mean, what are all the organs are going to be arised, and from the ectoderm what are all the organs, and from the endoderm also what are the organs are going to be arised, that we have seen. But around the fetus, while the fetus is developing, around the fetus there are four layers which will develop. Not only those, and we know the placenta is going to take part in the function of excretion, take part in the function of nutrition, right? But not the complete function is taken by the placenta. These yolk sac, allantois, amnion, and chorion, these four layers also take part in the respiration, excretion, right? I'll let you know. First, let me draw the fetus. Okay, let me draw a fetus here. Yes, if this is a fetus, so what happens to this? Okay, this is what the fetus, and to this fetus, the two layers or the two extra embryonic layers are attached. One is called as the allantois, and one more layer is called as the yolk sac. Okay, so what are these two layers which are attached to the fetus is that, which is not fully grown. Okay, I'm not drawing a fully grown one. I'm just drawing, this is what the yolk sac. This is a yolk sac. And what is this? This is the allantois. Allantois is the second layer. And around this, around the fetus or around the embryo, there is a one more layer. Around the embryo, there is a one more layer called the amnion, where this layer is going to contain the fluid. What is this layer? This is what called as the amnion. Did you heard about the amniotic fluid? Yes, Raghavi. So that amniotic fluid is, yes. This amniotic fluid is present in the amnion layer, between the amnion layer and the fetus. And there is a one more layer around this. And there is a one more layer around the fetus, all around the fetus. That layer is called as the chorion, which is going to have the chorionic villi. Okay, this is what? The chorion. Now let us see what is the function of each layer. Okay, first is that the yolk sac. What is the first layer? First layer is the yolk sac. This yolk sac is going to act as, let me take another color, then that will be easy, right? For the better understanding. Okay, this yolk sac is the extra embryonic layer. Apart from the ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm, all these four are the extra embryonic layers. In that, one is the yolk sac, which is directly attached to the developing fetus. Okay, what is the function of yolk sac? Okay, which is going to store the food. The function of yolk sac is that which is going to store the food, and also it behaves as an extra embryonic gut. What do you mean by extra embryonic gut? It behaves as extra embryonic gut. What do you mean by extra embryonic gut? Or what do you mean by gut? Gut is what? Come on, answer in the chat box. Yes, no one are ready to answer. Sad, very sad. Junction. Okay, are you sure? Neck part, okay. See, gut is a digestive tract, okay. The complete digestive tract, we can call that as a gut. So the fetus does not develop all these now. The fetus does not have all these things, right? So this yolk sac has to store the food, and at the same time, the yolk sac is going to act as a gut. So since it is not in the embryo, your video is not visible. Yes, Naveen, I just turned off my video because the internet is just fluctuating. Okay, once it is clearly audible, then I'll turn on my video. Okay, this is going to act as a gut, but since it is out of the embryo, which means it is not inside the embryo, that is why this is called as an extra embryonic gut. And the next one is that allantois. Allantois is also one of the extra embryonic layer which is going to attach to the embryo, and this stores the nitrogenous waste. Okay, Shashikala. Which stores the nitrogenous waste. Okay, see, we know that the baby or the developing embryo is going to give the nitrogenous waste to the placenta, right? But it can always, it cannot always throw out the nitrogenous waste into the female, into the maternal body. It is going to store the nitrogenous waste in the allantois, extra embryonic layer called the allantois. And then what happens? By storing the nitrogen waste and by purifying the nitrogenous waste. See, the nitrogenous waste has to purify, right? If the baby, see, this is the embryo. This embryo is getting the food or the nutrition from the mother body. So this embryo has to purify the nutrition or the whatever may be the thing which is coming from the maternal body, that has to purify, right? So this allantois is going to take place in the part, I mean, is going to behave as the kidney, extra embryonic kidney. We are going to call this allantois as extra embryonic kidney. So this allantois is going to purify the blood or purify the things whatever in the fetus, and then the nitrogen which is eliminated is going to stored in the allantois, and then it is given out to the maternal body. Okay, it is going to act as an extra embryonic kidney. Okay, and the next one is that amnion. Okay, amnion is the third layer in the extra embryonic layer which is present around the fetus. Okay. And here I would like to tell one thing about the amnion is that you might have heard about the yes, Omkar, you might have heard about this amniotic fluid, right? Yes, yes, yes. Amniotic fluid which is present all over here. Amniotic fluid which is going to present all over here in between the amnion and the fetus. And this amniotic fluid, okay, this amnion is going to secrete a fluid called amniotic fluid. Amniotic fluid. And what is the function of this amniotic fluid? Why should it be present? Is that it acts as a shock absorber. Act as shock absorber. And one more thing, it provides a liquid medium for the developing embryo. Provide liquid medium to the developing embryo. And one more thing, you might have know about this. By extracting or by taking some of the fluid from the maternal body, the doctors are going to check whether the baby is healthy. Baby is healthy or not, or what is the sex of the baby. All these things the doctors used to say. Do you remember that? I mean, do you know this? By extracting some of the, okay, so what happens is that if the female is pregnant, then they're going to extract the amniotic fluid. Okay, by extracting the, I mean, by examining the amniotic fluid, the doctors will say that whether the baby is healthy or not, and what is the baby condition. Okay, so how they used to do, and by the amniotic fluid, yes, yes, Naveen, we can also say that. I'll write that, just give me a minute. Okay, only by the amniotic fluid how it is possible, because see, this embryo is going to leave some of the cells, some of its cells, embryonal cells. All these yellow colored dots which I am drawing here are the fetal cells. Okay, just let me write. What are these? These are fetal cells. So once the doctors or the gynecologist, they have extracted the amniotic fluid, means along with the amniotic fluid, the fetal cells also they can get. By culturing the fetal cells, they can know the condition, or they can also know the defects of the developing embryo. Okay, that this is how they can examine the baby. And yes, as you said, the amniotic fluid is also helpful for the rotating of the baby in the uterus. Okay, this is about the amnion, and the last layer is that the chorion. So what is the chorion layer? This chorion layer is going to act as extra embryonic lung. Extra embryonic lung. Clear this? There are 4 extra embryonic layers. One is that yolk sac, which is going to act as the extra embryonic gut, and the second one is the allantois, which is going to act as the extra embryonic kidney, and amnion, which contains the fluid. Nisarga, you raised your hand. If you have any doubt, just ask me in the chat box. Okay, amnion, which is having a fluid called amniotic fluid, which acts as a shock absorber and provides a liquid medium for the rotating of the embryo in the uterus. Okay, and next is the chorion layer, which is going to act as an extra embryonic lung. Is this clear? Click on yes if it is clear. Yes, come on, click on yes if it is clear. Very good. So now, okay, great. You can click now. Am I audible clearly? Say, so that I can turn on my video. Okay, Nikita is saying yes. Super. See, these are all the 4 extra embryonic layer apart from the endodermis, endoderm, mesoderm, and the ectoderm. Yolk sac, allantois, amnion, and the chorion are the 4 extra embryonic layers where we can observe in the developing embryo. Right. Next, the development of the organs is that during the first month of the development, what happens when the baby, when the zygote formed, and then the zygote starts to divide and forms all the many things, right? So at the first month, heart starts to develop. Which kind of shocks? Most probably all kinds. I'm not sure, Deepa. We'll see. Okay, I'll let you know. Okay, during the first month of the development, the heart starts to develop. Okay, so if you are able to listen with the help of a stethoscope, you can observe the heartbeat of the baby at the first month, and at the second month the limbs and digits starts to develop. The limbs and digits means the hands and the legs and all these fingers starts to mechanical and electrical whole. Yes, Naveen. Okay, so digits means the fingers. Okay, and in the third month, all the major organs apart from the heart, limbs, digit, and all other the major organs starts to develop at the third month. So that is why if the all major organs starts to develop, if they develop, then the fetus can easily live in the mother's womb. That is why that 3 months is a very crucial. See, usually the doctors will say when it completes a 3 month, then it's okay. When it's a third month, then it is okay. But till the third month, the people has to take care, because the baby is not fully developed. Not the baby, the embryo, right? The embryo is not fully developed. That is why we have to take care very carefully, right? And the 5th month, if you observe during the 5th month, what happens? The baby starts to move inside the mother's womb. Okay, the baby starts to move inside the mother's womb at the 5th month, and at the 6th month, what happens? The body hair starts to develop, and the hair on the head and the body hair, everything develops at the 6th month, right? And eyelashes forms. Eyelashes, yes, they are formed with the hair, right? So body hair on the head, and eyelashes, everything starts to develop, and the eyelids opens. Okay, at the 6th month, the eyelids will get open. Till the 6th month, the baby is not going to open the eyelids. Okay, if you ever see the baby who is born at the 5th month, miscarriages happen and the fetus come out at the 5th month or like that, then you can observe that fetus is not going to open the eyelids at all. Okay, or if you have been to the science exhibition anywhere, there you might have observed, right? The first month, second month, third month, like that, they'll keep the complete 9 months baby development. So they're observed at the 6th month, the eyelids will get open, and 7th month it starts to grow, 8th months also it starts to grow, and exactly at the 9th month, the fetus is fully ready to come out from the mother's womb. Okay, so this complete period of from the fertilization to the completely developed fetus, this period is called as what? Any guesses? This period is called as, yes, Raghavi, very good, that is a gestation period. Okay, so from the formation of zygote till the 9 months or till the 280 days approximately, we are going to consider that as a 280 days or the 9 months. Till that period we are going to call that as a gestation period. Okay, yes, Naveen, some babies are going to born at the 7th month. Yes, but see, they need a special care, extra care. Yes, they can survive because every organs have been developed by the end of the 6th month, right? What happens in the 7th and the 8th month is that the baby is going to attain a maturity, or which means not exactly the maturity. It is going to attain, I mean, it's going to increase the size, and it's fully ready till the 9th month. But if the baby borns at the 7th month, yes, they are going to care the baby for many days, yes, and they'll keep on observing the development of a baby. And okay, so yes, there are chances if the baby born at a 7th month, it can survive, but in major cases there are chances of the death of the baby also. Okay, next we are moving to the next topic, that is what? Parturition. So what do you mean by parturition? See, so far we have seen that how the male and female gametes has developed, and how the male and female gametes are going to be fused, and the zygote has formed. The zygote is going to develop as the morula, blastula, and then gastrula, and finally after the gastrula, all the extra embryonic layers are going to be formed, and the baby at the 1st month heart develops, 2nd month limbs and digits starts to develop, and 3rd month the baby starts, I mean, everything, every organs develops, 5th month, 6th month, finally 9th month, right? 9th month or at the end of the 280 days. At the end of the 280 days, what happens? Due to the vigorous contraction of the uterus, okay, have you heard about this labor pain? Labor pain. Yes. So you might have observed in a movies also. Yes. So what happens? Yes, Sahana. So what happens during a labor pain is that the uterus is going to contract very much. Yes, the uterus is going to contract very much, so that what happens? The baby can come out through the vagina. Right. How does it happen? Why exactly at the 9th month the uterus is going to contract? I mean, why exactly at the 9th month the baby comes out from the mother's womb? Yes, I'm going to tell you now. Okay. And this parturition is that neuroendocrine mechanism. What do you mean by this? Neuroendocrine mechanism. Okay, neuro means nervous system. Yes, the nervous system, the signals which are passing by the brain or the nerves, that is also going to helpful for the parturition. And also endocrines are the glands, right? So the glands are going to produce the hormones. Those hormones are also helpful for the parturition. So that is why both the nervous system and endocrine system, as these two are going to helpful for the parturition, this is going to call as a neuroendocrine mechanism. First, what happens is that this fully developed fetus, okay, at the 9th month or at the 280 days, 280 days, or at the 9th month what happens? The fully developed fetus and the placenta both combinedly forms a factor called fetal ejection factor. Fetal ejection factor. See, this is it's already 9th month, the baby has to come out. So what happens? The fully developed fetus and the placenta, they combinedly forms a factor called fetal ejection factor. Okay, that fetal ejection factor is going to stimulate the maternal body. Are you getting my point? The factor is going to be released from the fully developed baby and the placenta. They combinedly release the fetal ejection factor. That fetal ejection factor is go and mix with the maternal blood or the mother's blood. Then what happens? The mother starts to feel the uterine contraction. Now if this is a uterus, so now the uterus is going to be contracted. See, this is a uterus and here the cervix and vagina is there. Okay, now the uterus is going to contract. Then what happens? The baby moves down, isn't it? Right. So when the fetal ejection factor is released by the fetus and the placenta, then it reaches and stimulates the maternal blood. Right. Now what happens? This opposite to this. I mean, if the factor is released, the mother body has to react for that, right? So how it is going to react is that by contracting the uterus. By contracting the uterus, the mother body reacts. This contraction of the uterus because of the fetal ejection factor is called as fetal ejection reflex. Reflex is just a contracting action. Okay. Understand this? The baby, fully developed baby in the womb and the placenta, they both forms a factor, I mean releases the factor into the mother blood called a fetal ejection factor. Then the mother's womb or the uterus starts to contract. This is what called the fetal ejection reflex. Clear this? Understood. Very good, Raghavi. 1 minute. The chat box is blocking the board. Yes, now what happens? This fetal ejection reflex, I mean the mild contraction of the uterus, not the vigorous contraction, just a mild contraction of the uterus is going to stimulate the pituitary gland. Okay, it is going to stimulate what? The pituitary gland. Which pituitary gland? Mother's pituitary gland or the baby pituitary gland? Just come on. If the uterus is contracting, then pituitary gland is going to be activated. So whether it is a mother's or babies, someone are saying mothers or someone are saying babies. No, it's a mother pituitary gland. Yes, as the mother uterus is contracting, then this contraction is going to stimulate the pituitary of the mother. Okay, this pituitary gland is going to, let me write, it is going to stimulate the pituitary gland. Okay, pituitary gland. Now what happens? This pituitary gland is going to stimulate, I mean it's going to release the hormone called oxytocin. Oxytocin is called as a delivery hormone. Okay, oxytocin is called as a delivery hormone. Understand? Clear till here? Is this clear? First, the baby, I mean the fully formed fetus and the placenta releases the fetal ejection factor, and to the response, I mean to response to the fetal ejection factor, the mother body, I mean the mother uterus is going to be contracted so that the baby can move out. So you might have observed in the movies, right? First the pains will come, not the vigorous pains. First is a mild pains and later the pains are very high, because first the fetal ejection reflex takes place, which is a mild contraction takes place. So this mild contraction stimulates the brain so that oxytocin gets released. What is that? Oxytocin is going to be released. Okay, Robo, Okay, in the Robo movie. Okay, in all the movies you can observe this. Okay, so this oxytocin, what does this oxytocin is that? So this oxytocin again acts on the uterus of the female body or acts on the uterus of the mother. Okay, now this oxytocin causes the more contraction or high contraction of the uterus. Do you remember the female reproductive tract? After the uterus, what is the next structure? After the uterus, which is the next structure? Yes, cervix. No, not the vagina. Next is the cervix, and after the cervix, then is that the vagina, right? So the more contraction of the uterus by the oxytocin, what happens? Now this more contraction of the uterus leads to the, it's going to push the baby down towards the cervix. Now you know that the cervix is not the bigger, cervix is not what a broad, cervix is not a broad structure, right? Cervix is a narrow tube like structure. So through that cervix the baby has to come out, right? Yes, which is a smaller part. Through that it has to come out. So now the cervix has to relax. If this is a cervix, the cervix has to get relaxed. So how the cervix is going to be get relaxed? Let me take a white pen. Okay, cervix gets relaxed by a hormone called relaxin. Yes, very good. By hormone relaxin. Now the cervix has got relaxed. And one more thing here we need to remember is that, so while the baby moving into the cervix, while the baby is moving into the cervix, what happens? The head of the baby has to come first. It has to come first, and then the hands, legs, and the other parts. Okay, so that the parturition will become easy. If the hands, if the legs come first, see, the baby doesn't know about how to come out and all the things. Baby is not aware of all the things. So if the legs come first, then what happens? There are chances of striking in between. And so always the head comes first. Based on that, if the head is coming towards the cervix, then okay, they'll go for the normal parturition. If the head is not coming first, then what happens? They will go for the surgical manner of the parturition. The surgical removal of the fetus is called as a cesarean. Yes, surgical removal of a fetus is called as a cesarean. Okay, now the cervix has got dilated. After the cervix dilation, now the baby is going to be expelled out from the mother's womb. The parturition has takes place. This is what the parturition. Is that clear? Is this clear? So what happens first? The baby, from which place baby comes? Sunil, that's what, from the vagina. Okay, if you are able to remember the structure of a vulva. Okay, so if this is a vulva, that is a female reproductive structure. So that at the top there is a opening for the urine passage, and at the bottom there is a vagina, right? So, and all over this there are other structures. From this vagina, the parturition is going to take place. Okay, Sunil? I didn't get you, Deepa. Right, clear? Is this clear? Yes. How it is very small part. Yes, that's why all these hormones are releasing. Yes, first the baby head will come out. So all the hormones which are releasing, they starts to dilate the cervix and vagina, which is a bit elastic one, right? So the baby can come out. Yes, the clear. This is all about the parturition. And one more important thing I need to tell you here is that so far the baby is present in the liquid, that is the amniotic fluid. When the baby is present in the mother's womb, now the baby is present in the amniotic fluid. No, Shashikala, if that is happening, if the legs are coming first, then they're going to remove the baby from by the surgical method. Okay, by the surgical method, they are going to remove. That is what called a cesarean. Ma'am, why women get a pain during the parturition? Because of the uterine contraction. There is a very much uterine contraction takes place. Okay, does the urinary bladder become contacted during a baby development in the uterus? No. Okay. See, it is going to, the baby is going to develop in a pelvic region, Naveen. Okay, and one more thing is that while the baby is coming out, not only the fetus will come out, along with the fetus, the umbilical cord will come out, and also what I can say, the placenta, umbilical cord and placenta will also come out. The placenta is made up of what? Yes, the placenta is made up of what? Placenta is made up of a part of a developing embryo and the part of the mother's womb, right? So what are those parts? What are those parts? Come on. Chorionic villi. Yes, Pushpita, very good. 1 minute, Shanta. Chorionic villi and decidua. Yes, very good. Decidua is a part of the endometrium layer, right? So now the endometrium layer will also come out. Okay, and the progesterone level and the estrogen level both will go down at this time. During the parturition or after the parturition, the progesterone and estrogen level will get down, right? Clear with this parturition. And one more thing, the amniotic fluid, right? The amniotic layer is going to rupture. When the amniotic layer is going to rupture is that, so the fetal ejection reflex is going to stimulate the pituitary, and that pituitary releases the oxytocin, and this oxytocin again go back to the uterus, and then it is going to increases the uterine contraction, right? This increased uterine contractions makes the rupture of the amniotic fluid or rupture of the amnion. The extra embryonic layer called amnion is going to be ruptured at this time. Okay. When the amnion is going to be ruptured, when the oxytocin is released, that is a birth hormone is get released, during that time, the amnion is going to be ruptured and amniotic fluid comes out. Okay. So first amniotic fluid comes out to the vagina and the fully formed fetus is going to be expelled later. Right. So far the fully formed fetus is present inside the mother's womb or in the in the amniotic fluid, right? But whenever the baby comes out, now what happens? The baby has to breathe its own, right? So far the placenta is taking place or some of the extra embryonic membranes are taking place, all these things. 1 minute. In some cases, doctor suggests for a surgical methods before a delivery. Do they come to know that whether the legs are going to type of fertilization is possible to ma'am? 1 minute. There are so many questions. No, they will know about the movement of the baby. They will know about the movement of the development of the baby, right? They consider all the things. Based on that, they're going to suggest. And ma'am, ma'am, in Good News Hindi movie, fertilization is through a hospital. They take out the sperm from the male and put in the female. No, they don't put in the female reproductive system. What they used, Vaishnavi, in that, what they did is that they have taken the sperm from the male and they have taken the egg from the female and they fused in the laboratory condition itself. Because there are, because of some unable circumstances, what happens? The female is not able to conceive, or female is not able to, the sperm is not able to fertilize the egg at that time. They are going to fertilize artificially at the laboratory and they're to introduce that in a female uterus. Okay. Yes, that is possible. They can do that. 1 minute. And why has gone for a male? That's something. No, Shashikala, why the hair grows on the body of the male is that is because of the hormones. Yes, I told you, right? Because of the secondary sex characters, the males have a different secondary sex characters, females have a different secondary sex characters, right? The secondary growth, all this is the secondary growth. Yes, Akbar, we can call that as a test tube baby. And ma'am, does any bones get cracked during a parturition to the mothers? No, no, bones does not get cracked. But yes, I'm sure that you must have read some messages like that, right? There they're going to say, uh, they're going to say what? Yes, they get a pain so that if a bone breaks, how much pain we can feel if collectively so many bones break, how much pain we can feel, that much pain the mother can feel. That's what they are trying to convey. That's it. The bones are not going to break. Yes, how test tube baby is going to produce, that's what, Sunil. They're going to collect the sperm and they're going to collect the egg and they'll fuse in a laboratory condition. After fusing in a laboratory condition, they'll allow the zygote to develop for some time. After that, they introduce that zygote into the female reproductive tract. Okay, so what I am explaining is that, yes, the baby is coming out from the mother's womb now. So now the baby has to respire its own. And we know that the uh, baby always cries when it comes out. Yes or no? Do you know this? Oh, yes, Ragavi, I'll let you know. Wait. Yes, why? Because now, so far now, the baby is not able to, I mean, it didn't respire its own, but now once it comes out, then the baby has to respire on its own, right? So how it is going to respire on its own? By the cry is the first time the baby is going to respire. By crying, the first time the baby is going to get its respiration, or it's going to get its air. Yes, not all the time, yes, but mostly the babies are going to cry to take a oxygen in. But sometimes the babies are not going to cry. That is why they're going to keep the oxygen mask for them, so that they're going to provide artificially. So what happens if they don't take a breathe, or if they don't take a oxygen, uh, then what happens, that may affect the brain of the baby or the brain development of the baby. That is why immediately, if the baby is not crying, then they are going to keep the oxygen mask for them. This is the main reason. If the brain is not developing properly, then there are chances of mental upsetting of a mental health of the baby. Oh, so many questions. Wait. Yes, ma'am, we heard if the baby doesn't cry, they will force able to cry. Yes, yes, yes. If someone want a female baby, then they can go for a test tube baby, as we can fertilize by X chromosome. No, how can you know? So if you want to know the chromosomes inside it, and you need to dig that, and you need to go for the nucleus, and you need to open that nucleus, and you need to see that. By that time, the sperm is going to be ruptured. And I don't know if that is there or not, I'm not sure, but there is not possible, that is not possible, I guess. If that is possible, the peoples are not, we can't stop the people, right? If that is possible also, they can't. If baby cry means it is a good no. Yes, yes, the baby has to cry. The baby has to cry, so that if the baby is crying, then the baby is taking a breath, the first breath. And what happens when a baby born at a 7 months? Okay, Smita, if the baby born at a 7th month, the development is not completed. If the baby is able to complete its development in a laboratory condition, that is good. If not, the baby, there are chances of uh, mortality of that baby. What is the possible to get test tube baby, a living baby without a putting female? Ma'am, is that a possible? No, no, I guess. No, Akbar. Ma'am, sometimes baby. 1 minute, there are so many questions. If baby cry means it is good. Yes, okay. Okay. So questions. Ma'am, sometimes baby will die when it is present in a mother's stomach. Why? Yes, I'll come to that point, Sunil. 1 minute. When baby comes, it will open its eyes suddenly, ma'am. No, yes, eyelids are open already during the 6 months itself, Shashikala. Sometimes baby is kept in ICU. Why they kept, ma'am? Because yes, the oxygen is, if the oxygen is not taken in by the baby properly, then that is possible. Okay. So if I missed any questions, just do let me know after the lactation. Okay, now we are moving to the lactation. And one more thing is that yes, the baby is going to take its first breath by crying. Now the lungs are going to be activated, and also the normal circulation takes place in that baby. And do you know the heart in a hole? Yes, mostly in the small childs we are going to see that the hole in the heart. Is are you aware of that? Yes, how it is happening, because usually the humans are going to have a four chambers, right? So two auricles and two ventricles. While the newborn babies, for the newborn babies, what happens? If these are the two auricles, and at the bottom these are the two ventricles, say. Okay, but these two auricles, I mean, between the two ventricles there is a layer which is present, but between the two auricles there is a gap. Between the two auricles there is a gap in the fetus. But when the baby born, then what happens, that gap starts to close. Okay, if this is a gap, see, if this is a gap, so then what? Yes, septum starts to develop, then the gap is going to be closed. In few of the babies, the gap is not going to closed. That leads to the hole in the heart. When the baby, I mean, when the parturition takes place, at that time only the hole is going to be closed. Okay. So this is what the parturition, this is how the exact parturition is going to be takes place, or development of a fetus can be taken outside of mother. I didn't get you, can be taken out of the mother means, Jadav, can you ask me in a different way? Okay, finally there is a question. You asked me so many questions. Now I am asking you a question. See, during a parturition, the fetal ejection reflex triggers the release of what? Sorry, an increased amount of estrogen and decreased amount of progesterone from the placenta, uh, and a decreasing amount of estrogen and increasing amount of progesterone from the placenta, and oxytocin in the form of a maternal in from the maternal pituitary, and gonadotropin releasing hormone from the fetal hypothalamus. What do you think, which is the correct answer? Yes. Somebody asked me a question. I lost the question. Can you just ask me again? I think Jadav, you asked me a question. Deepa is asking a question why water comes out before a parturition or before the delivery, why water comes out. That is what I told you, right? The amniotic fluid. Once the oxytocin is released, then strong uterine contractions takes place. That strong uterine contractions leads to the rupture of amnion layer. By the rupture of amnion layer, the amniotic fluid will come out and then the baby come out. Okay. Yes, I'm ending the poll. Yes, correct, everyone. And the results are like this. See, 9% of the people have chosen option A, 26% of the people have chosen option B, 74% of the people have chosen option C, and 6% of the people have chosen option D. I'm stop sharing the results. And the correct answer is that oxytocin. Yes, during parturition, fetal ejection reflex means triggers that triggers the maternal pituitary to release the oxytocin. Lower abdomen will. Okay. Or during a surgical removing, my voice is breaking. Okay. Is that clear now, Shashikala? Now it is not breaking, I guess. Okay, during a surgical removing of a baby, they're going to remove, they're going to make that at a lower abdominal area. Yes, next is that the lactation. Lactation means what? It is a process of formation. It is a process of formation, secretion, and ejection of milk. And ejection of milk. Okay. So there are two steps we can observe in the, yes, we can observe in the lactation. So you know that, right? Formation, secretion, and ejection of a milk. So from where the milk is going to be ejected, where the milk formation, milk secretion, and milk ejection takes place. Yes, Deepa, I'll come to that. Yes, from the mammary glands. Very good. Yes, from the mammary gland. Collectively, we can say that as from the mammary gland. So what happens here is that there are two steps involved in the lactation. One is that the first step is that a milk secretion. Milk secretion. Okay, so how the milk is going to be secreted? The milk is going to be secreted by the alveoli of the mammary glands. Do you remember the alveoli of the mammary glands? While explaining the structure of mammary gland, I have explained that. Yes, do you remember the alveoli of mammary glands? Yes, from the alveoli of the mammary glands, the milk is going to be secreted. So how those alveoli get stimulated is that, so this alveoli is going to be stimulated by prolactin. Okay, prolactin is going to stimulate the alveoli of mammary gland. Okay, so from where the prolactin is going to be released means the prolactin releases by anterior pituitary. The prolactin releases the anterior pituitary. Okay, and we know by the end of the parturition, what is the level of estrogen and progesterone, whether it is a decreases and increases. Yes, soon after the parturition, the lactation starts. Yes, what is the fate of hormones like progesterone and estrogen? Yes, the progesterone and estrogen levels are very low after the, 1 minute, Shashikala, after the parturition. So that low level of estrogen and progesterone stimulates the anterior pituitary. Now that anterior pituitary is going to release the prolactin. Okay, this prolactin is going to activate the alveoli of the mammary gland. From the alveoli of the mammary gland, the milk is going to be secreted. Okay. So, and if the prolactin is produced continuously, then the alveoli are also going to produce the milk continuously. Okay. So now this milk production, the process of milk production is called as lactogenesis. Lactogenesis. Lactogenesis is what? Production of milk or milk production, we can say. Okay, milk production is called as the lactogenesis. Okay. Now what happens? And it is going to be maintained for a many months or many years. And next step is that, the second step is that milk ejection. Sorry, okay, milk ejection. So what is the milk ejection? Milk already formed in the mammary gland of the maternal body, right? So now that milk has to eject out. How it is going to be eject out is that this pituitary gland starts to release the oxytocin, right? That oxytocin is going to act on the mammary gland, or right. So that oxytocin is going to contract the muscles around the mammary gland. This oxytocin is going to contract the muscles around the mammary glands. Then the milk can be ejected out. Okay. Once again, the milk secretion. So the milk secretion is very easy. The anterior pituitary, because of the low amount of the estrogen and progesterone, the anterior pituitary is going to be, what I can say is, anterior pituitary is going to be stimulated. That anterior pituitary releases the prolactin. That prolactin will stimulate the alveoli to produce the milk or to secrete the milk. Okay. And the milk ejection, because of the contractions of the muscles around the mammary glands by the oxytocin released by which part the oxytocin is released by? Sunil, that is completely based on the muscles and the fat which is present in that area. Oxytocin is released by pituitary. Okay. Oh, we are showing hypothalamus. Okay. Next, this is about the production of milk. Here you can see process of producing milk by mother, and initial milk which is produced by the mother is called as a colostrum. And breastfeeding is highly essential for a newborn. Why it is highly essential? Now I'll tell you. Right, the colostrum is what? Colostrum is the first produced milk. Let me write. The colostrum is a first produced milk. Yes, Jadav, correct. First produced milk. Okay. So now, why it is essential? Do you repeat the definition of milk ejection? So milk ejection is easy, Karthik. So the milk, yes, that's what I'm saying, Shashikala. The oxytocin, which is released by the pituitary, is going to stimulate, or it is going to contract the muscles around the mammary gland, and by that contraction the milk can be ejected. That is a one way. And another way of ejection of milk is that by the suckling also it can be happen. Yes, first in the sense of every parturition. If the first baby, the delivery is the first time, first few days, what is happening, that is what the colostrum. First few days what the milk is forming, that is what called a colostrum. And in the second delivery also, first few days what is the milk is secreting, that is also we can call as the colostrum. Okay, so why the colostrum is highly required for the newborn babies is that, see, it contains the antibodies, that is IgA. These antibodies can provide the passive immunity to the baby. Do you know the difference between passive immunity and active immunity? Yes. Okay, active immunity and passive immunity is that if we provide a immune system or immunity, ready-made immunity, if we provide a ready-made immunity, that we can call as the passive immunity. And if the immunity is built inside the body for our own, that is what the active immunity. Here the baby is getting the immunity by the mother or by the colostrum, right? So this IgA is called, contains the passive immunity, and it contains rich in protein. It also have the minerals, water, sugar. What is the sugar present in the colostrum? Can anyone tell me? Yes, Lavanya, I'll come to that. Very good, Biswajit. That is what? The lactose. Lactose is the sugar which is present, which is produced by the. Why low fat means the maximum fat the baby can't digest. Yes. So whatever the baby needs, that is given by the cholesterol. Exactly. Okay. And fat, no much fat is present. Only the oil droplets, a few of the oil droplets are present in the cholesterol. Okay. Yes, this is about the parturition and lactation. And next, development of twins. I hope I have told you about this already. That is, identical twins are also called a monozygotic twins, right? See, here you can observe that there is a one zygote. From the one zygote during the during the morula stage, the two cells have divided, right? And if those two cells which develop, see the two cell stage, if those two cells which develop individually into a newborn, then the twins, identical twins can happen. So why we are calling that identical twins? Because there is only one sperm and the one egg. They fuse and forms a one zygote. That zygote is dividing into two. That is why that zygote have the similar characters. Yes, the zygote has the similar. If the zygote divides into two, both the cells have a similar characters. That's why they are identical twins. And always identical twins have the same gender, either the male or female. We can't get the two genders in the monozygotic twins. Whereas in the dizygotic twins, two eggs are formed and those two eggs are fertilized and forms a two zygotes differently. Right? Is this clear? So now the floor is open for your questions. So many questions. What? Yes, DNA also, DNA of the monozygotic twins is also same, Akbar. See, do you have any questions, queries to ask? Is this clear? If you have no questions, I'm going to conclude the chapter. I didn't get you, Sunil. Okay. Twins, clear. Missing some mothers. In some mothers, low amount of milk secretion. Because of the hormones, Sudharani, because of the hormones, improper hormones, the milk cannot be produced properly. One umbilical cord is sufficient for the twins. About umbilical cord, for the dizygotic twins, two umbilical cords will form. And if the monozygotic twins divide separately, then the two umbilical cords will form. In some others, okay, questions are, ma'am, we know 208 bones in the pregnancy time, where they disappear, ma'am. Oh, I need to look into that, Raghavi. Okay, I'll just look into that and I'll let you know. I mean, twins, if both boy and girl born means how the cells get divided. See, Prerana, always in the twins, if the both male and female born means you have to know that those twins are formed by the dizygotic or they are the dizygotic twins. Okay, dizygotic twins. If the gender of the twins is different, that is clearly known that those twins are dizygotic twins. Two different eggs, two different sperms. Okay. Yes. Mm. Triple baby born is that how it is going to be happen? Three babies is that. See, first the zygote is going to be divided into two cells. If those two cells divide individually, forms a twins. And in there is one more chance. Out of these two cells, one cell is going to divide into two and one cell remains as it is. Now, how many cells we have? Three cells. And these three cells are going to develop individually. Then what happens? Three babies are going to be born. Okay. That may be a chances of normal parturition, or nowadays normal parturition is very rare. So many people, I mean, doctors are going through the surgical parturition. I mean, surgical removal of baby outside. I mean, removal of fetus. So there are in the twins also the normal parturition can be happen. Twins, see Raghavi, if there is a one zygote which divides into two, right, two cells, and these two cells develop individually, this is called monozygotic twins. One zygote is going to develop as a two. In the dizygotic twins, what happens? There are two eggs are going to be formed from the female, and these two eggs are fertilized separately, right? And then what happens? If these two eggs fertilize separately, they are going to develop as a new individual again. Yes. So far in the human reproduction, what are all the things we have studied? Wait. If a cesarean they are doing means it is a concern that baby is coming from a leg. No, Shashikala. There may be other reasons also. Just I have told you one reason. Don't stick on to that, okay? What are the possibility to go monozygotic or dizygotic? Means what? I didn't get you, Lavanya. And some babies have a common head. Yes, Sunil. Some babies have a common head, but the two bodies, right? So what happens? See here. These two. Right? These two cells which are dividing now. So if they don't divide completely from the animal pole to vegetal pole, this is going to divide, right? So if somewhere in the vegetal pole, it is not divided completely and this starts to develop individually. These two cells starts to develop individually, but at one pole, it does not divide it completely. Then what happens? The head is fused. I mean, one part is get fused and the remaining parts develop as it is. This may be happen. Oh, how to know? I don't know, Shanta. Yes, any more doubts? Okay, now tell me what are all the things we have studied in the human reproduction chapter. Yes, Lavanya. First is that male and female reproductive systems, which are important for the long answers. Okay. Reproductive systems, male and female reproductive systems. And then we have seen the gametogenesis. Yes, very good. that is a formation of sperm and the formation of egg, and also the structure of ovary, all those things. Remember, okay, structure of testes, structure of ovary. Just go and complete the module. Tomorrow you don't have biology class, and even the Sunday you don't have biology class. So go and complete the module, and Monday I'm going to keep only the questions based on the module. And if you have got any doubts, you can ask me on a Monday on this chapter. So let us complete the a few questions. I mean, let us go for the few questions, and then what happens, uh, so that I feel if we complete the questions in the class, it may be easy for you to write the test on Sunday, right? And everybody should attend the test. I'm seeing that the less attendance. Why? If you attend the test, then only yes, if we attend the test, then only we can know our ability and disabilities, right? Okay. Yes. And after the gametogenesis, we have seen the fertilization and then the post fertilization events. This is what all the things we have studied in this chapter. The homework is that read a textbook, make your own notes. Yes, are you making your own notes? We can have a 2 legs from a mother and 2 eggs, sorry, 2 sperms, and fuse it in a lab and later put in a female rat. Yes, 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 it can be possible. Are you making your own notes? Only 3 people said yes. 4. Yes, good, 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 good. Such a nice student. Not the tomorrow. Not only question answer session, and we'll try to have some other, if possible, on this topic. No pregnant. No, Deepa, how the males can be pregnant? They don't have uterus. If they have uterus, they can be. Okay, and discuss the topic with your friends. Are you doing that? Good, 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 great. Great if you're making a separate note. Yes, are you discussing the topics with among your friends? So what happens? So do that, do such things. So we can explain the topics. Whatever we explain, sometimes what happens, if your friend teach you, because you guys are having the same mindsets or the same things, right? So once you discuss with your friends, or you explain to your friend, or you ask your friends to explain, so then what happens at that time, you can easily understand the topic. Sometimes yes, if the teacher teach, I mean, your friend can teach you better than the teacher. During these days it is not possible. Yes, it is not possible, but if you get a chance, you can. I'll see, Deepa. Yes, I'll see. And next, complete the module as I told you. Okay, and here there is a gif. Just observe this. Okay, you understood the class very clearly. Thank you, Raghavi. See how it is growing. This is what we have studied throughout the chapter. Is the fetus is developing, right? This is what we have studied throughout the chapter. The complete human reproduction is the same. Yes or no? Yes, Karthik. Okay, I'm launching a teacher NPS. Just do answer in that. Don't go without answering. Understood this. Sorry, understanding this video took more than 10 days. Yes, Naveen. So to understand this simple 5 seconds video, yes, we have taken not more than 10 days. Yeah, this is only 10 days. Okay. Yes, I'm going to share you this in the PPT form itself. So if I send you in the PPT form, then it will be easy. If you just open the notes, then it will be easy. Bye bye. Complete human reproduction chapter in a 10 seconds, Jeff. Very nice, ma'am. Now we are able to analyze it. Okay, yes, Raghavi. How many eggs do you think were released by the ovary of a female dog? Shbana. 6 puppies, right? I don't think about that. I'll think about that now. Next chapter, yes, we're going to start in next week. Reproductive health. Yes, Biswajit. Thank you, Rakshita. Are you answering in the poll, everyone? If you don't have doubts, you can. Yes, yes, Shishikala. Thank you, Naveen. Thank you, Shishikala. So if you don't have any doubts, you can leave for the day. Baby head will towards the cervix during the development, or not during the development, but during the development, it can be developed. But the baby is going to be rotate, right? The baby will rotate. Movement of the baby takes place. Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Yes, that's what I want. If you understand the class, that's enough. Thank you. Bye. This Sunday you guys are not going to have test because the today itself we have completed, right? So will plan this for the next Sunday. Okay. Thank you. And can I end the class? 1 minute. How many eggs are released by the human ovary in a 1 month? Shbana, in a 1 month, human ovary is going to release only a 1 egg. Once again, yes, just ask me in the WhatsApp, Raghavi, then I can share you. I need to search for that now. Okay, I'll share you, just ask me. One secondary oocyte. Yes. Oh, sorry, I told wrong. One secondary oocyte. Okay, Shibana, not egg. Yes, thank you, Raghavi, for correcting me. Hey, it's okay. Actually, I'm happy for that. Okay. Oh, yes, you can leave for the day if you don't have any doubts. I'm going to end the poll. Only 47 people have voted in the poll. Where are the others? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Bye, everyone.